Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CFL Dynasty podcast. I am your commish, Steve. So excited to be back here for week 3. It is rivalry week. That is right, the first of 3 rivalry weeks. Will there be some upsets? We got teams looking to go 3-0, but also avoid going to that dreaded 1-2 and pick up the losing record on the season. Lots to get into this week, including some crazy results from our week 2 games. There were some real injury concerns all across the league, and I think that affected some of the results. Not all of them, of course. There's also maybe the possibility of this week's results being affected by the same concerns. So we'll go through our fantasy preview at the end of the episode as well. The commish predictions, well, we're improving week over week, and I like the picks for this week as well. I think we're going to finally flip it to over 500. And some waiver wire craziness as well to go through. There are some teams left standing in the pools as well, but a few more have fallen. And then we'll of course get into the commish locks, because I think we got some better ones for you this week as well. So lots to come here on this rivalry week 3 episode. And without further ado, let's get into our fantasy review. All right, let's kick it off with our game of the week recap. This was the Gronks taking on the White Russian. This was going to be the upset. White Russian taking out the Gronks. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the side of the fence you're on, the Gronks took it by a 5-point margin. This is the formal apology that was promised last week. The Gronks are legit. They are back. Kyler looks for real, and they have the best running back room in the league. Maybe I'm pandering a little bit. And Tyreek with Skylar Thompson, Christian Kirk. Ooh, I don't know about the wide receivers, but hey, no, this is an apology. You guys, you did it. You look good. And the recap will tell you just that, because it was Kyler taking 37 points on his way to the victory, helped out by James Cook. Massive Thursday night game. Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor did get it done. That was kind of it for the Gronk scoring, but I mean, they managed to put up 144. They were touching the top few scores of the week with that one. Big fight by White Russian. DK Metcalf and Geno Smith had a real nice game, almost 50 points there between them, but just couldn't get enough from the rest of his lineup, unfortunately, and ended up just shy of 140 points, so not a bad outing. Put your phones on mute, guys. This is really embarrassing, but I'm not going to redo the take. So tough luck, Chris. It was a good battle, but the Gronks, the lone American League or USA Division winners of the week. So good job. They're back. They're legit, and well, I guess keep it up. We'll see what this week brings. The Battle of the Cousins, we had Nav taking on Khan and Raheem, I suppose. It was going to be a lot closer on paper, but this was a absolute mopping, 158-83. Zeke, where did you go? Aaron Jones, Diggs, Worthy. It was not a good performance by the BK Whopper. Devontae Adams does look legit, and Josh Allen didn't really have to do anything Thursday, so you can kind of forgive not the best effort there, but the rest of the lineup, yuck. And there are also some concerns that we'll get to in the preview as well for BK Whopper. Nav, his team finally did turn around. Jalen Hurts touching 30 points there. Stroud maybe looking a little bit normal, but I think consistent. You might not blow up every week like Marvin Harrison Jr. did, Nav, but everybody did their part. That was a great team effort, and he's moving on. James, am working from Mahomes. Another tight battle. There was a lot of drama this week. I really liked it, guys. Like this one as well. Kind of came down to the wire with Mitch taking the lead Monday. Uh, Dak and Anthony Richardson, I think that's where the ball was kind of dropped here on James's team. I mean, Kamara putting up 43 points, but there were some problems. Debo, decent effort, but is he going to play this week? Cooper Kupp hurt again. Rashad White looks like garbage. Sorry to say, he was so good last year. And I don't know. AR might not be him, but we will see. Jerry's still out on that one, but James, I mean, as much as some guys kind of let you down, you were in tight all the way. Mahomes and Rodgers just kind of okay, decent, 20 points each. If Mahomes breaks out, I think Mitch could move or really take a run at the top of the standings in the Canadian division, anyways. But there's still some better efforts ahead from Tank Dell, maybe. Not if Nico has anything to say about it. And Ayuk is probably going to go off this week. But nonetheless, Mitch had enough, taking out James 133 to 128. Jameson Williams, good find too. Looks like this might be a breakout season for him on working from Mahomes' team. Italian Stallions taking on the Banditos. And again, if you're following the theme here, it was Canadian division the whole rest of the way. Really wasn't even close, the most competitive division in the league. Banditos overcame the Italian Stallions, but maybe some injury points lost in this one as well. But it was a 156 win to 123. The Banditos, again, really solid performance across the board. Nothing crazy from Goff or Purdy, but they got it done. Connor looks good in the Arizona backfield, and Zay Flowers is going to have some good games. Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb and Rashid Shaheed is probably the best wide receiver core in the league, but some trouble maybe for Lamb, Jefferson this week. More on that to come. But Banditos, again, really solid performance at a 156, taking out Stu. But Stafford looks like he's on a bit of an island out there, only 9 points. Tua, he might be done playing football. Barkley was a pretty quiet game. That could have been the difference, though. No, actually, it wouldn't have been close if he had caught that touchdown. So some good performances from Stu's rookies, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. looks to be like a decent pick there. So Stu could be on his way. Garrett Wilson is his worst receiver. He's probably happy to hear that. And HN will always get a bunch of points, but not today, Stu. Not today. Great job to the Banditos. And Ev as well. I mean, we won't spend much time on this one, taking out Hanging with Hernandez. It wasn't even close. Jaden Daniels, great pick. Ev, he is going to help you. Bijan also looks like a stud. I mean, Jonnu Smith was the third highest scorer. Fairburn, the first. At least they got the most points, from the quarterback, Joe Burrow. But their team's garbage, and they got really no direction on that rebuild, unfortunately. But we appreciate the donation to the league, boys, for the next 3 or 4 years. So good job, Ev. Again, free win that time. This could have been the game of the week, the last one. The captains, they were the favorite going in. They were the favorite coming out. And hopefully there's more from them to come. Beating Hildy 127 to 113. It does break my heart a little bit to see how bad Caleb Williams really is, but on this week I was totally fine with it. And Baker QB1 Mayfield is going to continue to lead the charge for the captains. And Justin Fields starting quarterback again. Yes, please. So this team is only going to get better. Just don't look for DeAndre Swift on the waiver wire too soon, or maybe you should. So that was it for the fantasy recap. Now, how did the commish do on the picks? Well, Gronks, you got your apology already. That was a good win by them. We didn't take that one. We went 3 for 3 though. So Nav over BK, that was a good pick. And James, I feel like you should have taken that one. I still like my pick, but good win for Mitch nonetheless. Captain did not get that one right. And Italian Stallions thought Stu had this one going in. The Banditos overcame, but we nailed Ev with the win, and obviously we picked the captains over Hildy. So 3 for 3 on the week. We're just under 500 on the season, but the commish picks going to get better going into week 3. Stay tuned to the fantasy preview to find out more on those. We'll move over now to our league standings and overviews. There's been a bit of a change. Again, I like to move through the power rankings as opposed to just running through the actual standings this early in the season. But in the Canadian division, it is Nav and Ev on top, with working from Mahomes in that order, all at 2-0. Banditos, Captains, White Russians 1-1, 1-1, and 0-2 respectively. Over on the, we'll just call it the mediocre USA division, we got 1-1 Italian Stallions, Gronks, BK, and Hildy. James and hanging with Hernandez, still looking for those first wins of the season. And we move over to the power rankings as of week 2, and there was a bit of movement at the top of the table. Nav moving into first place, followed by Ev. So the 2-0 teams overtaking the power ranking charts. Italian Stallions dropping down only to third place, though, maintaining a 1-1, but a strong points for. Working from Mahomes, our other undefeated team, taking up the fourth spot there, followed by James. Surprising, we have a real strong 0-2 team there, so maybe James can turn it around and make a charge here, but sitting at 5th in the power rankings at 0-2. Then we have the Gronks, the Banditos, and BK Whopper, all with 1-1 records. White Russian, another 0-2 team, moving ahead in the power rankings. The Captains, Hildy, and of course hanging with Hernandez, rounding it out. So will there be some more moves in the power rankings this week? We're starting to see, obviously, the undefeated teams separating a bit, but I think it tells a story. Stu and James up there in the top 5. That's encouraging to see, and looking forward to week 3. All right, let's get into our pool recaps now. Obviously, no change in our bad beat standings, but we did have some changes in the Pick'em pool. All right, week 2 pool results for our TD pool. Here they are. White Russian and hanging with Hernandez. Unfortunate picks, Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley not coming through on the ground, or Barkley even in the air. What a chance that was. I will say, though, decent picks, guys. They both really should have scored. Obviously, game circumstances were a little bit different. Moving on, though, Gronks nailed it with their own Breece Hall pick. Mitch with a Jordan Mason TD. Not a bad one there. And Nav with a Kyron Williams pick. So we're down to 3 on the TD pool. Loser pool, we had a few more casualties as well. Ev, Hildy, James, and Nav. 3 of the 4 were the Raiders with the upset there. So Raiders not losing, and you guys are out. Hildy, respect you didn't go with the Raiders to lose, but Tampa, your pick, did not go well either. Hanging with Hernandez, this is their silver lining, guys. They moved on. They got Carolina to lose. Captains picking Denver and Italian Stallions with Cincy. A little bit of surprise pick there, Stu. That one took some balls, but there's 3 left in the loser pool now. Get your picks in if you haven't already, guys, and we will see what this week has to come. All right, quick recap of the waiver wire additions. There was a couple of decent names on the wire this week. 3 big ads. The Italian Stallions, Hildy, and Captains are the ones to make the moves this week. Stu, paying out big. 115 makes sense. Bryce Young benched. The Red Rifle coming in, shelling out that cash for Andy Dalton. Is he going to get the start this week? Well, I think so. Tua on the bench. Looks like Andy Dalton in the lineup for Stu. Hildy paying up. Maybe a projection here. Kareem Hunt for 70. That's not a bad one if he can come in and learn, get off the practice squad. But looks like that Carson Steele pick might just turn into something. He was the hot addition at the free agent auction to start the year. And then DeAndre Hopkins, was it a surprise drop last week? BK Whopper having to make some cap room, and another just stud receiver added to the captain's receiver room. Who knows? Maybe somebody's a little light on receiver this year. They need some help. I mean, you can come see the guy with 6 top 10 receivers on his bench. But captains picking up DeAndre Hopkins, and that was it. But some good names moving off the waiver wire this week. All right, it's time for the DGen Alley Commish Lock section. Now, Stu Commish has been kind enough to share some with us this week. We'll recap what I thought were some real good numbers last week. The Josh Allen over 2 touchdowns and 275 yards. It really should have been. Let's put this one on the Dolphins. They kind of lost it for us. Otherwise, it was looking nice. But Stu has provided us some locks this week, and we'll take you through those. We have a money line of the week. Colts minus 120. Tank, probably happy to hear that one. So Colts minus 120 is your money line of the week. I like the spread. Packers plus 2 at minus 15. And the upset of the week is the Giants at plus 235. I could see that one hitting. Anytime touchdown from Hurts is at a plus 110. That's your prop of the week. That's basically free money. And a Ramondre anytime TD at plus 130, our bonus prop here from Stu. Decent numbers on both of those. They look like pretty close to locks as you can get. So, money line of the week, Colts minus 120. We like the Packers spread at plus 2. Upset of the week, the Giants, you can get them at plus 235. And then a couple of props here, Hurts or Ramondre, anytime TDs plus 110 and plus 130 respectively. Stu, thank you, and I look forward to next week's commish locks as well. We got a new segment to throw in here too, and I'm hoping there's going to be some more buy-in. Maybe we can even get one going for this Sunday. But we threw out the idea of the Bozo parlay, and I think everybody is in on it. Those who want to be anyways. We're going to do $10 a week. It's affordable. Everyone gets a pick, as many people that want to be in. If you lose, or if your pick does not win, or whoever has the furthest odds that lose is going to be the bozo for the next week. You put up the $10, and if you can't make the bet, transfer the $10 to somebody that can. If $10 is too much, then hey, just let me know. But I think it's a fun little addition we can always add to the engagement in this league, and hopefully the Bozo parlay allows us to go out and net that unicorn. Would be fun, and we'll see what we can do. But a little more to come in the chat on that one, boys, as we work through this in the first week. Well, we'll get into the meat of the podcast now. It is time to move forward to the fantasy preview. Kicking it off in the preview for rivalry week. So excited to get this underway. The game of the week, one of the highest scoring projections. It is Ev, undefeated, taking on the Banditos, coming off their victory against Stu last week. We like Jaden Daniels in this one, but Jared Goff, could he finally come awake and maybe put some points up himself? Everett's projected 134 to 119, so it isn't quite as close as it would suggest. But with Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb currently up in the air, I do think that CeeDee Lamb is going to play. Justin Jefferson limited on Wednesday, so we'll have to see what that holds. Rashid Shaheed obviously going to be in the lineup for the Banditos. But if they get in, I think with the downgrade that Waddle has at quarterback, Travis Kelce has yet to awaken, Ev has a little trouble on the receiver side, and Gardner Minshew, he's probably going to turn back into a pumpkin here pretty soon. So as much as the numbers suggest Ev is going to go to 3-0, sorry, bud, I got to think the Banditos with the upset last week are going to come through and just get some good, solid, consistent points across the lineup. I think Jefferson and Lamb are going to be good to go, and that'll make the difference in our game of the week. There are no easy games in this league. Ev Coach Evan Dorashuk said. That's coming right from the fantasy preview on the site. So, Ev, that's a great quote, man. Unfortunately, this is another one of those non-easy games, and the Banditos are going to come away from it with the W. The next rivalry week game, we're moving over to the American Division. It's hanging with Hernandez taking on the Gronks. It's going to be a wash. Burrow maybe has a bit of a breakout here, looking for him to move off of his. I believe Burrow is 1-9 all time in the first 2 games of the week in his 5 seasons in the league. So look for him to pick up only his second win in the first few weeks here of his starting seasons. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, James Cook, Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill, even with the downgraded QB, there's way more on the Gronks here than needed, and I think that should be enough to get them across the line. If it's not, there's really no coming back. If you lose to hanging with Hernandez this year, I don't know what the punishment is, but it's not going to happen, so we don't have to worry about that today. Next up, the tale of a couple of quarterbacks who are starting to underperform a little bit. That's Hildy at James, Caleb Williams versus Anthony Richardson. James projected again on paper to take this one, but there's going to be some movement in the numbers. Herbert looks like is in a bit of trouble for Hildy, but he was practicing, I believe. Not sure if Justin Herbert is going to play, although the way he's played this year, I don't know that's going to make much difference. Don't know that Caleb Williams can turn it around. Jamar Chase could finally be starting to get something going here after throwing a bit of a hissy fit last week. But aside from Brock Bowers, gotta respect the pick there. That looks like a nice player you got there, Hildy. But James, I think just a little bit too much. Cowboys will probably find their form. Anthony Richardson is, you know what, he'll get the job done. I think at the end of the day, Saints are rolling. Kamara should put up some points. There's just a little too much on James's side. He's gonna get off the schneid this week. It's the best 0-2 team that I've seen, and look for James to take Hildy out in this rivalry week. Staying in the American Division, BK Whopper at Italian Stallions. Stu with a tough loss last week, and BK Whopper coming with a defeat against Nav. So a couple of teams looking to bounce back with wins here, and right now with Aaron Jones and Jaden Reed projected with 0 points. Not sure if that'll change or not, but Jones does seem to be limited and maybe not going to play. So BK Whopper is going to be in trouble. Even if Josh Allen can put up some big numbers this week, and the Raiders stay hot with Devontae Adams getting going, it's not probably going to be enough to overcome. As of now, no red rifle in the lineup. Stu going to roll with Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford. I don't know. That might be the wrong choice, Stu, but he's going to have enough anyways. This is with a lineup with Joe Mixon currently not projected to take part. So even if if Stu has to fill in somebody there, I think this is going to be a pretty easy victory, and Stu should keep his standing at number 1 in the USA division. Back to the Canadian division now. We have the captains taking on Working from Mahomes. And I know you guys probably think who I'm going to pick in this one, but I'm going to play a little bit of reverse Uno and going to say that Working from Mahomes has the better team on paper and is probably going to come away with the victory. Derek Carr, I mean, is he the best quarterback in the league maybe? And Patrick Mahomes is always due to have a big game. Not sure what's going on at running back though in Green Bay. Mitch, everybody is dropping like flies. Marshawn on IR, and Jacobs maybe not going to play. You got lucky with the Dobbins signing. I'll give you that one. But I think you still have a little bit more to overcome. Baker and Fields on my side. We'll have to see if Nico is a little bit banged up, but I think he's going to play, so it should make it closer than it is. But I'll give you the edge in this one. Working from Mahomes, looking to stay at the top of the Canadian division as well. And Not this week, Mitch. I'll get you later on in the season. But good luck. You got the victory. And with all sincerity, it was a good match. So too bad you won already. The last one, moving on here, is Nav and White Russian. Again, we got 2-0 meeting 0-2. This should be a good match. It's projected to be pretty close, only 4 or 5 points difference. Nav 132 to Chris's 127. Jalen Hurts maybe again has not quite exploded, and CJ Stroud is looking like a decent baseline, but give the edge to Nav in that department. Geno Smith should stay hot this week. I don't know about Deshaun Watson. He might be officially cooked. And on paper, the running back room, Etienne, Gibbs, and Mason over on Nav's team should outperform Najee, Singletary, and Ramondre, although Ramondre has actually looked really good this year. Marvin Harrison finally awoke last week, the wide receiver battle for Nav, where he also has the edge. He's got Olave and St. Brown in there too. The Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper stack could go off any week, and Geno Smith, DK Metcalf in there, so I like the big play potential, Chris, but the double stack, the rare opportunity for disappointment as well, and I think that's what it ends in this week. I'm calling Nav for the victory, moving up to 3-0, and Chris will continue to look for that first victory of the year, potentially in week 4, because I don't think it's coming this week. That'll do it for week 3, gentlemen. I hope it was a good one. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the Bozo and getting to see maybe to the end of the TD pool and the loser pool. Again, 3 more in each there. Are we going to have the bad beat this week? There's a couple tight matchups that could end up with some pretty high scores, so watch for that to get claimed this week as well. And don't forget the commish locks. Thanks to Stu for those. Go back and listen. There seem to be some pretty good ones in there. We got Thursday Night Football happening. Looking forward to the weekend as well. Until next time, commish out. Have a great one, and we'll see you next week on the Fantasy Football CFL Dynasty League podcast.